بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله صلوات الله والسلام عليه. أما بعد فإن خير الكلام كلام الله وخير الهدى هدى رسول الله وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. Before we begin, inshallah, our very last class from what we had taken from the book al-Sunnah by Imam Ahmad, I want to share with you brothers a hadith, remind you of a hadith that has been mentioned before, and it explains the reality of our ummah during these days, and is closely related to today's subject, the last subject, and the fitna that comes as a result of it, the fitna that we see with our very eyes. What was collected by Imam Menhaj and other than him, on the authority of Hudayfa ibn Imaan, may Allah be pleased with him and his father. The Nabi told the people sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, يدرس الإسلام كما يدرس وش الثوب حتى لا يدرى ما صيام ولا صلاة ولا نصر ولا صدقة ويسرى على كتاب الله تعالى في ليلة واحدة حتى لا يبقى في الأرض منه آية. We mentioned this hadith a few times, and we mention it again because, as I mentioned, it's reality of our ummah today. And it's a proof in the dalil, qati', that Mustafa is Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam because he qad sadaqa. He said that in Islam, he said during his time, and Islam is going to disappear the same way that the embroidery of the thobe disappears. The new thobe that a person buys for himself is brand new, it has the ink, it is the way it is, his jacket, his hat is new, his shoes is new. The more he wears it, the more he washes it, the more he takes care of it, it gets older and older and older, and it becomes fading away. He said Islam is going to be like that, to the degree that the Muslims are not going to know what is Siyam, they're not going to know what is Salat, they're not going to know what is Hajj, they're not going to know what is Sadaqah, as Zakat. And in one night, the Quran is going to be lifted up and taken from the earth, and they will not remain in the earth one ayah. We were to ask the average Muslim, I'm talking about your mother, your wife, your daughter, your child, your neighbor. You ask the average Muslim, what is al-Islam? What is the meaning of Islam? The ta'rif of Islam? Many Muslims don't know. The hadith of Jibril, when Jibril came to the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and he said, Ya Muhammad, akhbirni an al-Islam. Tell me, Ya Muhammad, what is Islam? And the Prophet told him the 5 arkan of al-Islam. You were to ask the average Muslim, tell me what is the ta'rif al-nabawi? What did the Prophet say al-Islam was in the hadith of Jibril? Many Muslims won't have tasawwur. What are you talking about? And the ones who do know, they have an idea. They'll give you the arkan al-Islam, but they'll give them without the tartib. They'll say al-Hajj, and he mentioned zakat, and he mentioned salat, and he mentioned the shahadatain, and he mentioned Sawm. Our mothers, wives, children, you go ask them, what is Islam? Muslims don't know. So the Nabi told the truth, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. From what is known as al-istiqra. Al-istiqra is when, for an example, you read all of the Quran, you read all of the Quran, and after reading the whole Quran, you come to the conclusion that there are 3 categories of a Tawheed. There's no hadith or ayat said there's 3 categories of Tawheed. It's by reading the Quran from the beginning to the end, you realize that there is the Tawheed of Allah's names and attributes. He is Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, and so forth and so on. You realize that there's the Tawheed of Allah Azza wa Jal in His al-Ubudiyyah, that we have to worship Him alone. And you realize as well that there is the Tawheed of Allah Azza wa Jal in His Rububiyyah. He created everything. He's responsible for everything. So through the same process of al-Istiqra, reading the Quran and the Sunnah, the scholars of Islam came up with a definition of al-Islam. In addition to what we just mentioned, the ta'rif of Jibril, the ta'rif and Nabawi that the Prophet gave, al-Islam and the 5 pillars. The scholars said, based upon reading the Quran and the Sunnah, we come to understand that al-Islam is al-istislamu lillahi ta'ala bil-tawheed wal-inqiyadu lahu bil-ta'a wal-bara'atu min al-shirk wa ahlihi. That al-Islam is for a person to submit to Allah with Tawheed, and for him to do what Allah told him to do, and for him to separate himself from the kuffar and from al-kufr, from shirk and from the mushrikeen. So there is a Muslim who he submits to Allah Azza wa Jalla. He says, I submit to Allah, but he doesn't submit to Allah with Tawheed. Every day he prays. He's a practicing Muslim, and he prays, and he says, Iyyaka na'bud wa iyyaka nasta'in. He believes that, but he thinks it's permissible to ask the dead person in the grave for help. Whether that dead person is a saint, a beleif from the awliya, whether it's a nabi from the anbiya. He makes dua to other than Allah. His sheikh in Liverpool. In Liverpool, there are people who believe that the sheikh was all the way in Sudan. If the lights go off while we're talking about the sheikh in Sudan made the lights go off. So he believes that he made Islam. He's submitting, but he's not submitting with Tawheed. Many Muslims are like that. And then when it comes to the second part, doing what Allah told us to do, a person says, I'm a Muslim, but he doesn't pray. I'm a Muslim, she doesn't wear hijab. I'm a Muslim, doesn't fast. I'm a Muslim, I'm a Muslim. So they said that Islam is al-istislam lillah bil-tawheed wal-inqiyadu lahu bil-ta'a. Do what he told you to do. And the third one is really significant. It is al-bara'atu min al-shirk wa min al-mushrikeen. That a Muslim has to separate himself from the shirk, and he has to separate himself from the mushrikeen. He has to وَأَذَانٌ مِّنَ اللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ مِنَ النَّاسِ يَوْمَ الْحَجِّ الْأَكْبَرِ أَنَّ اللَّهَ بَرِيءٌ مِّنَ الْمُشْرِكِينَ وَرَسُولُهُ لَكُمْ دِينُكُمْ وَلِيَ دِينِ. Statement of Ibrahim and those with him, إِنَّ بُرَآءَ مِنْكُمْ وَمِمَّا تَعْبُدُونَ مِن دُونِ اللَّهِ كَفَرْنَا بِكُمْ بدا بيننا وبينكم العداوة والبغضاء أبدا حتى تعبدوا الله وحده. In our religion, the Muslim has to separate himself from the kuffar in many ways. As a Muslim. My relatives were not Muslims. If any of them died, closest people to me, mother, my father, may Allah give them hidayah and not cause them to die in kufr. If one of them dies, both of them dies, I can't inherit any of the money that they have. Any of the money. I can't have their house, can't have their cars, can't have any of that. Why? The Nabi told us, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, la litawarif ahlu millatain shatta. It's not permissible for people to inherit from each other or from two different religions. He didn't allow Muslims to inherit from them. Didn't allow them to inherit from them. That's one of the ways Islam said, lakum dinukum waliya din. Now I have to explain, freeing ourselves from shirk and mushrikeen doesn't mean that we don't buy into community cohesion. We have to buy into community cohesion. That's our religion. We live here, there are kuffar around us, we're good to our neighbors, they're good to us. We go to programs where there's going to be mutual benefit for all of us, no problem. We're not talking about being against community cohesion and being antisocial. That's not what this is talking about. This is talking about when it comes to the deen, when it comes to ibadah, when it comes to our a'yad, our celebrations. Lakum deenakum waliya deen. So look at the third part, and a lot of examples how Muslims go against this. A lot. Just give you one simple one. Is the issue of the birthdays that we do. The Muslim mother, the father, they don't believe in the birthday. They don't believe in that at all. Their birthday, their children, they don't believe in that stuff at all. But they say, well, it's just to give the kids an opportunity to do something. You are going against that third issue. That issue in Islam. That Islam didn't leave it for us to take from kuffar any way of celebrating. Islam gave us all of our celebrations. I'm a husband. I'm going to give my wife a Valentine's Day card. I'm going to give my wife some chocolate on Valentine's Day, just to show her that I love her. I don't believe in these kuffar. I don't believe Isa is the son of Allah. I don't believe in that. I just want to show my wife I love her. So I gave her some chocolate and some flowers on this day. That goes against al-Islam. Not to mention many of our shabab, boys and girls in the university on down, Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day. All of that stuff is against our religion. All of that stuff is against our religion. So the point is, the Nabi told us, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, that Islam is going to disappear. The way the thawb fades away. The people, their tasawwur of what is the religion, the Muslims, the way they understand the religion, is going to be different from the Islam that the Nabi brought, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and that his companions were upon. So I mentioned that hadith, the bab that we're dealing with today, the tasawwur of the Muslims. In this bab, in this issue, right now has the Arab world in turmoil. They call it the spring of the Arabs. Rabi' al-Arab, the spring of the Arab. I call it the shita of the Arab. It's the winter of the Arab. The blood loss, the fawda, the fitna, the qatl, the nahab, all of these issues. Now someone sits in the audience and right away he thinks that I'm for the hukam or dhalama. Not for the hukam or dhalama. But the Nabi of Islam didn't leave it to our awatif to teach us how to deal with these particular issues. It's about the tasawwur of Islam. So here, in the last point that we're going to deal with, I haven't been here for some time. And when I was here, the next class was this point. The next class was this point. And when the next class was going to happen, before I traveled 4 weeks, I was gone. Even at that time, the people who do these things, they did something back at that time. At that time, it would have been appropriate to mention at that last class. And then we travel, and now something similar to it happens. And they continue to do things that are going to cause kuffar to hate our religion. Wallahi, I tell you, with that hadith that I mentioned to you, al-Islam is going to disappear. These kuffar who are around us, these kuffar, I believe, in the dunya, we have to treat them like kuffar. They get the ahkam of al-kufr. We don't give them salams. We don't marry them. We don't marry them to our people. We don't eat their food. I believe that in the dunya, they have the ahkam of kufr. But Yawm al-Qiyamah, I don't know what their ruling is. That's my position. Maybe Allah Azza wa Jal will test them. Because if the Muslims don't know Islam, how do we expect kuffar to know Islam? The picture that we give of Islam, any given street in the city of Liverpool, any given street, even the streets close to this masjid, any given street where there are Muslims and kuffar. The kuffar, they see my wife, she goes out, she doesn't have hijab. She sees his wife, she goes out, she has niqab. She sees his wife, she goes out, she has tight jeans on with a khimar. Sees that one over there, she goes out, she has on a businessman suit. They say, well, how is the Muslim woman supposed to dress? Even worse than that, our Aqeedah. They meet some Muslims. This one, his name is Ali bin Hussein. He is telling them that Ali is the ruh of Allah and the companions of kuffar. This one over here is telling him that his sheikh is this, is that. That one is telling him that the Nabi never died. That one is telling him some other stuff. And they're getting all these mixed signals. These are kuffar. We don't know the religion. And as you Arab brothers know and Arabic speaking people know, the Arabs say, فَاقِدُ شَيْءٍ لَا يُعْتِيهِ. The one who doesn't have something can't give it. You want some sadaqah from me, some money? I don't have any money, I can't give it to you. I don't have the right to tasawwur of al-Islam. How am I going to give it to you? I meet the man, I take out my knife, I say, hey, you're going to become a Muslim. You better say that, you better become a Muslim. He says to me, okay, don't kill me, Abu. I want to become a Muslim. What do I have to do? I say, I don't know. I don't know what you have to do. I don't know. I have no idea. Just become a Muslim. And Imam Ahmad said today in this issue, from the Usool of Ahlus-Sunnah, from the principles and the fundamentals that Ahlus-Sunnah are upon. And a principle you have to be afraid of speaking about it in many of the masajid, the masjids where the people are being cultivated on nonsense. In Cardiff, Ikhwani in Cardiff, you know the Yemenis community, some of them came here a long time ago. I'm mentioning this not to put the Yemeni people down, to give you an example of what I'm talking about. In Cardiff, Yemeni community, they are old, they are jadhur, old, just like here in Liverpool. Yemeni's family, the auntie died, Ajuz, Sallallahu Yarhamah, Ajuz. There's the main masjid. The main masjid is a masjid where they make shirk with Allah. They make shirk with Allah. The way they make dhikr, what they believe, a lot of problems. They were the original people who exposed the community to khurafat and shirk, not to the sunnah. Khurafat and shirk. Worshipping the Sheikh, worshipping Rasulullah. So when the old lady died, some of her grandchildren are on the sunnah and they want Islam. They don't want to cause trouble in the community, so they want to pray the salah in the big masjid because that's where their elder uncles and aunties go. They want to make salah. But they said under the condition that one of us prays. She's our grandmother. Someone died and the imam of our masjid is the hafid of the Quran here, Masjid al-Rahmah. He's hafid. Your mother died and you know how to pray janazah. If you came to this administration and said, I just want to pray with my mother, you don't have anything against the imam. You don't have anything. You're just saying, I want to pray over my mother, my grandmother. Wallahi, thumma billahi, thumma tallahi. I don't think this administration and that imam is going to say, get out of here. I think they're going to understand the situation. But over there, because that masjid is against the spread of the sunnah, because of the khurafat and the shirk and the bid'ah, the point, when those grandsons wanted to pray over the grandmother, those leaders said, no way. With al-haqq, it was ghadab, adawa, just because they were on the sunnah. They don't believe in the Prophet's birthday and things like that. No. So anyway, look what happened. It's just amazing, amazing. They let the imam pray over the grandmother. It was fitna in front of the community on the worst day. Fitna. The imam prayed over her. They took the old lady, Allah yarhamaha, to the maqbara. And in the maqbara, they started to make it the dhikr at the grave. Said to the nephew, the grandsons, take it easy. Let it. Don't argue on this day. Let it happen. It's a big problem. They doing their dhikr. They took the grandmother or the auntie out of the coffin because they were allowed to bury her directly into the earth. The sister of the auntie started screaming, how are you taking her body out of the thing? How are you? Because some of the aunties married some kuffar men. Some of the children came out white and Yemen, like that. Some of them have no Islam, some of them have Islam, some of them are baina. The auntie who was born in Yemen started screaming, how do you take the body out? How are you? And it was a big folder. The point that I'm making is, why did she make inkar on that? Why was she having a problem with that? When back in Yemen, in Somalia, in the whole Muslim world, we bury our dead directly in the earth, in the land. That happened because of the jahl that that lady had, due to the fact that the people who are teaching are not teaching. They're not teaching simple, basic issues. Who Allah is, and what He does, what He doesn't do. The ahkam of the istiqbal of the mawlud, how to bury our dead. The tasawwur of the Muslims in basic issues are a problem. So when we come to issues like this, it's a bigger problem. And what's in the balance of these issues is the blood of the Muslims, the property of the Muslims, the lives of the Muslims. And Imam Ahmad said from the Usool of the Sunnah is that the people of the Sunnah, they make the salat, al-Jum'ah, and the Jama'ah, Dhuhr, Asr, Maghrib, Isha, al-Janaza, al-Eid. They pray the salat behind any Muslim who is in the position of leadership. And if you pray behind that individual, your salat is complete. You pray 2 rakats or 4 rakats, whatever it happens to be. And whoever, after praying behind him, he reprays, he prays again, because he said, I shouldn't pray behind him. I can't pray behind him. He said, then this action is the action of an intervener. And that this one who does this has abandoned the proofs that have been left by the Prophet ﷺ. He went on to mention that in al-Islam, the Muslims pray behind the leaders of the Muslims, talking about the leaders of the governments and so forth and so on. He said whether they are religious or irreligious. So the Sunnah is that we pray behind them 2 rakats for their Eid, and whoever does it, it is complete. And the person shouldn't have in his chest, in his heart, any problem with that salat and this idea. And whoever وَمَنْ خَرَجَ عَلَى إِمَامٍ مِنْ أَئِمَّةِ الْمُسْلِمِينَ وَقَدْ كَانَ النَّاسِ اجْتَمَعُوا عَلَيْهِ وَأَقَرُّوا لَهُ بِالْخِلَافَةِ بِأَيِّ وَجْهٍ كَانَ بِالرِّضَى وَبِالْغَلَبَةِ فَقَدْ شَقَّ هَذَا الْخَارِجِ عَنْ عَصْرِ الْمُسْلِمِينَ. He said once the Muslims are united and there is a leader, irregardless of how he became the leader, he became the leader because they wanted him to be the leader, or because he overpowered them and he just took the leadership, or he was born and his father gave him the leadership. The Muslims found him the leader. And Imam Ahmad said, the asl, the way of Ahlus-Sunnah is, it's not permissible to go outside of this man's rulership and to revolt against him and to fight against him. He went on to mention, rahimullah ta'ala, that the one who does that, he has opposed the proofs that have come from the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and if he dies in that state, he died on a way of al-Jahiliyyah. And it is not permissible for the people to fight against the Sultan or to revolt against him unless they were to see from him clear kufr. Clear kufr. And Imam Ahmad went, and this is the end of our issue here. He went on to mention, rahimullah ta'ala, and we see the permissibility of fighting the people who are renegades. They steal your money, bandits. Ahlus-Sunnah, they see the permissibility of a man being able to fight against the one who's trying to steal his money, come into his house, rape his family. It's permissible for him to defend himself. And we also see the permissibility of fighting against the Khawarij, those people who fight against the leaders of the Muslims. If one of them were to come to try to take the Muslim man's money, his wealth, or harm him or his honor, then it's permissible to fight against him and to protect himself to the best of his ability. But it is not from the Sunnah, if they came to him and he defended himself and then they ran away, it's not for him to run after them and to become a person who's looking for them in the earth in order to get retribution against them. He said, for verily, this is the responsibility of the Imam and the people who are in positions of authority. This is the last point of the Usool of as-Sunnah of Imam Ahl. First point that we want to mention, Ikhwani, on a regular basis, Any Muslim, anyone who you know is claiming to be a Muslim, no matter what the masjid is, if you don't know what he is upon, you don't know what he believes, you can pray behind that individual without asking, what do you believe? To come to the Imam of the masjid and you refuse to pray behind him, whatever masjid, until you found out what he believes, is an innovation. We have to judge the people based upon what is apparent. You don't know a situation, you pray behind any Muslim. But if you were to hear, this masjid right here is a masjid where the people believe this, and the people do this, and the people do that. The things that they're doing are innovations, no problem. As long as that innovation doesn't take them outside of the fold of Islam, you can pray behind any Muslim. Whether it's in the masjid or in his home, whether it's in the masjid, the place of work, whatever. You can't be of those people who, if you meet a Muslim and he's doing an innovation, or he's stealing, or he's drinking khamr, or he's doing something that's haram, you can't say, I refuse to pray behind him. Any Muslim who's doing an innovation that doesn't take him outside of the religion, we pray behind him. And the reason for that is because some of the companions, radiyallahu anhum, they used to pray behind people who have problems. They pray behind people who drink khamr. They pray behind people who are killing other Muslims. They pray behind people who killed some of the Sahabas. They pray behind them. They went the road with them. They pray behind them. They made Hajj with them. They gave them their zakat. So if someone comes today in 2013 and says, I'm not going to pray behind them, you have gone against the athar of the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam and what the companions were upon. The Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam told the people, there are going to come some imams who are bad. They're bad. He said if they pray and they do the right thing, they'll get a reward and you'll get a reward. If they pray and they do the wrong thing, it's against them and it's for you. If everyone was allowed to reject any imam just because something that he doesn't like, then there would be no unity in Islam. Because everyone's going to have a problem. Our imam here, our imam here. I have no problems with him. My relationship with him is okay. But I'm sure there's someone in this community who doesn't see eye to eye with him for some reason. Has to be. The administration here. Personally, I don't have any problem with the administration. Me, Abu Usamah. But there has to be someone in this community that has a problem with them. Someone. So every time someone has a problem with the imam or the administration, we wait until their salat is done, and then the people who have a problem with them come in and then we pray after them. And this is what the Muslims used to do in Mecca. The Hanafis will come and pray. After the Hanafis, the Shafis will come. After them, the Hanbalis will come, and so forth and so on. No, we pray behind one imam, because that's what the Prophet told us to do, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And the companions prayed behind people who were drinking khamr. The man prayed Salatul Fajr and he drank khamr. He was drunk. They knew he was drunk. He was the leader and he prayed the salah. And not only did he pray 2 rak'at, he prayed 4 rak'at. And he read the Quran the wrong way. 4 rak'at. And the companions prayed behind him. And they didn't stand up and make the prayer again. And other issues. This is too many examples. Too many examples. During the Khilafah of Uthman ibn Affan, radiyallahu anhu, he went and he performed the Hajj in Mina. And in Mina, we should pray 2 rak'ats for Dhuhr, Asr, and then Isha. Uthman radiyallahu anhu, for some reason, he prayed one of the 4 prayers. He prayed it 4 rak'at, not 2, which is the Sunnah. The Prophet did it, Abu Bakr did it, Umar did it, and then Uthman came and he prayed 4 and completed it. Some of the younger people of the community got up, they went to one of the ulama, they went to one of the ulama of the companions. They went to Abdullah ibn Umar radiyallahu anhu. They went to Abdullah ibn Mas'ud. Yeah, Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, did you see what he just did? He just made 4. It's supposed to be 2. You have to get up and say something about it and come. Get it, go against it. He said, well boy, 2 rak'at is the Sunnah. That's what he should have did. But al-khilaf, shar. Having this fighting with Imam, this is evil. It's going to bring about some evil. It's going to bring about a bigger evil. If I talk against him, then every Amr, Bakr, and Zayd of the people, they're going to put him down. They're not going to respect him. Everyone who has something to say, from the Bedouins, from the women, from the educated, uneducated, everybody has a voice to say, like the situation is today. Everybody has something to say. She doesn't know her elbow from her ankle bone, and she has something to say. In this religion, who are you? La umma laka. Who are you? Doesn't the regular person in Masjid al-Rahmah, who are we when it comes to fatwas about the life of the Muslims? Who are we? We're not ulama. We have some people, alhamdulillah, memorize the Quran, they know some ahkam al-tajweed, but the vast majority of us, if the noon as-sakin fell on our head, we don't know that's noon as-sakin, and yet the person is going to start talking about big issues because she has something to say, democracy and other than that. Second point that we want to mention, Ikhwani, is this issue of the leader of the Muslims. If the Muslim leader is an evil person and he is over the Muslims, it is not permissible in the deen of Islam to try to go out and to fight against that man. Not because al-Islam wants the oppression, no. But it's because Muslims are going to get leaders who are reflective of their reality. That's number one. Number two, if you fight against him, it's going to be a bigger fitna. Bigger than the fitna of his presence. It's going to be a bigger fitna. Bigger than the fitna that you don't like. Number three, if you allow to go against him and fight against him, someone is going to be against the people who fought. Like in Egypt today. Like in Egypt today. Hosni Mubarak, la barakallahu fi. I'm not with Hosni Mubarak. I'm not with Hosni Mubarak. Because there's some people who sit there and say, this guy's with Hosni Mubarak. He's with Gaddafi. He's with Abdullah Saleh. That's what he understands. No, I'm with the Kitab and the Sunnah. The Islamiyun. They made their thing and everything, and they won democracy, and they won. And as soon as this man comes, he starts to make decisions here and there. Some people like it, some people don't like it. Now the people are upset with him. And then after that, upset with the next group, and the next group, and the next group. And it never stops. That's the reality. So the Nabi told us, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, alaykum bis-sam'i wa-ta'a, wa in ta'ammara alaykum abdun habashiyyun ra'sun kazzabib. You have to listen to the Amir who is over you. You have to listen to him and obey him. Even if he is a black person from Somalia or Ethiopia. He has a head like raisins. He's a black person. You Arabs. A Sheikh Abu Usamah. See him? Arab. That brother over there is sitting in the chair. He's Arab. They're lighter than us. Those Arabs. You know how the Arabs look. Someone comes looking like me, looking like you, Somali brother. Then the Nabi told those Arabs, even if a slave were to become your leader or you was black, you have to listen to him. It's already known a slave can't be the leader of the Muslims. It's impossible. It's not permissible in the deen. The slave can't marry 4 women. Slave can't make hajj unless his sayyid told me to make hajj. How in the world is going to be the leader? That was the Nabi's way of telling the people, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, obey the leader Muslims, even in that thing which you hate. As long as he doesn't tell you to do what's haram, you obey him. And some hadith said, even if he strikes your back and he takes your money, obey him. Now the person comes and says, the tasawwur, the person comes and says, nobody's going to take my money, I'm going to fight him back. Yeah, you can do that with the regular people, but you can't do that with the leader, because the hadith said that. No matter how much you give them the hadith, they're not going to buy into it. So I always give this example. I give this example and I hope it can be understood. The example is those of us who are married. Those of us who have wives, you are the imam over your wife. You're the imam. And your house is your hukuma. What you say is what's going to happen in your house, inshallah. You get the final say for most of us, inshallah. If the wife, today, after Maghrib, you pray Salat al-Maghrib, we go to the house of one of you, we go to the house, and then we're going to eat at your house, and your wife comes to the room where we're all sitting at the table, and she says, hey, Ikhwan, Ahlul Masjid, you brothers, let me tell you what my husband is doing. My husband watches pornography. My husband doesn't get up to pray. My husband doesn't give me time. My husband is beating my children. My husband is not doing this. On and on and on. All of us want to say, hey, Amatullah, we're waiting. What are you doing? Not like that. Nobody is going to accept that from her. She can't say to us, oh, you like the oppression of my husband? No, it's not that we don't like, it's not that we like the oppression, but what you're doing is an aim. You're creating a bigger fitna. Your wife, you're sitting here at the table, your wife is sitting here, your 3 children over there, 3 children over there, and your wife, you're the Imaan. And this is your hukuma. Your wife, your children, your wife says in front of the children, you're doing this, you're doing that, you're this, you're that. No one's going to accept that. The same way that your wife has to solve her problem religiously, we have to solve our problems with the leader religiously. And what's the way to do it? It's what the Prophet said. He said, if anyone were to see from the Imam what he doesn't like, then go and take that Imam by his hand and seclude yourself with that Imam, not in front of the people, and tell him what the issue is. If he takes it from you, alhamdulillah. If he doesn't take it from you, you did what you're responsible for. He said the best jihad is to say the truth to the Imam in his face, not in front of the people. We found some of the political du'at, some of the most famous Arab du'at of the last 10, 15 years, the ones that the Arabs really love. The most famous du'at, who are they? They're the ones who are talking against the leaders. Because that's what our ummah likes. That's what our ummah wants. I am not saying Hosni Mubarak is okay, and I'm not saying Gaddafi is okay, Saddam Hussein is okay. I'm not saying that. I'm saying Al-Islam told us, deal with them a particular way. Just as it told your wife, deal with you in a particular way. You, and myself. We know what we're doing. Everybody here knows what he's doing. How would you like if your wife stood at that masjid door on Friday and started handing out flyers, my husband is doing this, my husband is doing that, my husband is doing, and she really mentions what you're doing. You're going to say, what are you doing? Not only is she going to get divorced, but some of them, they're going to get broken jaws. Some of them are going to get broken legs. Because some of the husbands are going to go overboard for that thing right there. Not only that, some families, it's going to grow out to the family. That fitna is serious. Sharrul mustatir. In this small example, the lady who does that comes to the masjid in public. She exposes the faults of her husband. It's not just, it may be between her and her husband, he divorces her with the children. That's akhaffu ma yakun. He kills her, breaks her jaw. His family is fighting her family. When they find out what he's doing to her, all kinds of stuff. And that's the Muslim world today. That's the Muslim world today. The scholars of the past, the Salaf, they used to say, one night without an Iman, one night without any Iman is worse than 1,000 years with a bad Iman. Because with that bad Iman, that bad person, Islam doesn't want evil. Islam wants the izalatul munkar, eradicating evil. Islam doesn't want evil. But with that Iman, with that father there's going to be evil. There's evil. But in his absence, kullu ma dabba, everything when he's gone is going to come out. Everything, every problem. Murder, rape, every problem. And Imam Ahmad after that went on to the issue of a group of people who it is their way to encourage this. This is their Islam, to encourage this. This is their way. He called them the Khawarij. Nas'alullah al-afiyah was-salam. We have real live Khawarij in the UK. And we have people who yatabannawna the afkar of the Khawarij. And our youth, young people, are throwing their lives away and Islam is suffering as a result. Al-Imam Ahmad spoke about the Khawarij. The Khawarij is the first deviant group that sprouted its head during the time of the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. There was a war, the Muslims won, the Prophet took all of the booty of war, all of the property of the non-Muslims, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. In dividing the money, who did he give it to? He gave it to the people who were new to Islam, the leaders. He didn't give it to his companions who were close. He gave it to the powerful leaders who had become Muslims, because he wanted to solidify their hearts on Islam. He wanted, by giving them the booty, camels, sheep, money, horses, by giving them this, it would give them stability with their tribe and give them a position to help Islam in the future. That's how the Nabi was looking at it. When he did that, there was a man who came. That man, they called him Dhul Khuwaysira at-Tamimi. He had big eyebrows. He was frowning like this. He had a bald head. He came and he grabbed the Nabi by his shirt and said, "Ya Muhammad, be just, because you weren't just. We went to fight with you and you giving them all the money." And in another narration, he said, "Ya Muhammad, fear Allah. You're not fearing Allah by giving them next money." The Nabi took his hand and said, "Hey, woe unto you people. Woe unto you people. Who's going to fear Allah if I don't fear Allah, if I disobey Him? Allah has entrusted me with the amana from the sama, a proof that Allah is in the sama. But the Muslims, where is Allah? We don't even know." He said, "The one who is in the sama has entrusted me with the kitab, the sunnah, the religion, and the rasul, and you people on the earth don't trust me. You come and tell me that I'm not doing right." Those companions say, "Ya Rasulullah, let us kill that man. That's kufr what he did. That's kufr." The Nabi has knowledge. He's an alim, a faqih. He said, no, don't kill him. Do you want the people to say Muhammad kills his companions when you disagree with me? I'll kill you. Let him go. The man started walking away. The Nabi told his companions, radiyallahu anhum ajma'een wa sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Inna من ضد هذا قوم يقرؤون القرآن لا يجاوز حناجرهم يقتلون أهل الإسلام ويدعون أهل الأوثان يمرقون من الإسلام كما يمرق السهم من الرمية لئن أدركتهم لقتلتهم قتل عاد. There's going to come from that man's loins a group of people who, they read the Quran, but the Quran that they read, it doesn't go beyond their throat. It's just recitation. He said in another hadith, يَشْرَبُونَ الْقُرْآنَ شُرْبًا. They read the Quran like they're just drinking. He said that they, from their characteristics, they kill the people of Islam and leave the people of idolatry. They'll go in the religion and out the religion the way the arrow goes in and out of the game. He said, if I were to catch them, if I was there, when they come out, I will kill them, decimate them, destroy them, the way the people of Ad were destroyed. Someone could have said, but Ya Rasulullah, why don't you kill him right now? And then we won't have that problem. There was wisdom. There was wisdom. The Khawarij in this hadith, from their characteristics, is that they talk down and bad about the ulama, like the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. In Somalia, in Yemen, in Saudi Arabia, in Kuwait, in America, in the UK, we're the ulama, we're the ulama. I don't know Nun Sakin, but I have a degree, a law degree. So I'm the Qadi of the UK. You're the Qadi of UK? You're the Qadi of UK? And all of the ulama, they say all of them are scholars for dollars. I saw one of them, a miskeen from Jamaica. Miskeen, can't read Surah Al-Fatiha correctly. Khutbah al-Jum'ah, in the first part, he made takfeer of the three biggest scholars of our time before he sat down. Why? مَنْ لَمْ يَحْكُمْ بِمَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهُ فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْكَافِرُونَ. So they don't make takfeer of King Fahd. غَفَرَ اللَّهُ لَنَا وَلَهُ rahimullah ta'ala wa nas'alullah yarhamana. Because they don't make takfir, he said that they were kuffar, lawazim, batil. They don't respect the ulama like that man. And the other thing is that you'll find that the ulama, like in the case of the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he has a long-reaching basira. He sees long way. As for these people, they only see what's right in front of their nose. They only see right, and that's why they don't have the ability to weigh the masalih and the mafasid. Okay, that man deserves to be killed for grabbing the Nabi. And there's benefit in killing him. So there's a maslahah in killing him. But the mafasid is bigger than the maslahah. If he killed him, everyone's going to be afraid to come into Islam, because if you become a Muslim, people are going to think, if you disagree with Muhammad, if you make one wrong move, that's it. You're done. Come on. The Nabi described them. They kill the people of Islam and they leave off the people of idolatry. As I told you, in the last class, before I was here in Somalia, up in the north, in Somaliland, there was a sheikh, his name is Abdul Qadir Noor, Farah Noor. It's one of the old people of Somalia who brought the Sunnah to Somalia. Is he ma'soom? Wallahi, he's not ma'soom. No sheikh is ma'soom. But he brought the Sunnah to Somalia. When Somalia was a place where it had some other stuff, he brought the Sunnah. And the people killed him. When? Where? At the time of as-Salah, while the man is in sajda. And that's not the only incident. In the 70s, Juhayman and those people in the Haram of Mecca, they killed the Muslims in the Haram of Mecca at Fajr time. At the Haram of Mecca, killed the people. Somalia and in Sudan, a sheikh called into the Sunnah, Fajr time. The man is in the first row. Do they wait for the man to come out of the masjid? No. In the first row, they just shoot everybody in the first row. Kill 8, 9, and 10 people. In Nigeria, there's a group there called Boko Haram. Now, they disagree with the man. Name is Jafar. Abdullah ibn Jafar ibn Abdullah. They disagree. Fajr time, they kill a man. This is not the religion of Islam. The Khawarij are a problem. Recently, as you all know, and we told you many times, do not believe the newspaper and the media as if it's revelation. We have a Menhaj in our religion. It tells us how to deal with the hukam, tells us how to deal with the media of today. We don't believe and we don't disbelieve until we have proofs. But everybody here is aware of the situation. If it turns out that the identity of those two individuals are really from the Muslims, that young tender age, what did they do for Islam? What did they do for Islam? I don't know if you have relatives back in America, but we have some apologetic groups in America, Muslims. We have two extremes, the Khawarij type people, and then we have the so-called immigrants, Arabs and other than that, who go to America, they've been there 15, 20, 30 years, and they're still apologizing for being there. We don't want our elders and our masjid to apologize for being in the UK. We didn't do it. We're here to stay. We're law-abiding citizens and we're Muslims. Lakum deenukum waliya deen. Stay away from the extremes. But in America, the Muslims are on the back foot now, trying to tell the Muslims how to behave now that the anti-Islamic backlash is very high. Why? Because some people, what did they do? What did they change? What did they change? You young brothers, you young sisters, we say to you, run away from any Muslim who comes to you talking this stuff, blow this up, blow that, kill that, jihad. Look at some of the characteristics that the Nabi gave about the Khawarij, sallallahu alayhi wasallam. In this hadith, he said that these individuals kill the Muslims and they leave off the kuffar. The kuffar now, some kuffar, they're killed here or there, but then the kuffar turn around and they kill how many of us? How many of us do they kill as a result of what these people do? So they're killing the Muslims. He says, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, in describing them, Sufahal ahlam, hudathal asnan. They're young people who have weird ideas. Their mind is not complete, it's not mature enough. I don't care how much knowledge a person gets in this masjid. I don't care how much knowledge you get. Knowledge of the deen will enhance your situation, but there is no substitute for al-khibra, having experience. The Nabi said, "Man shaba shaybatin fil Islam, kanat lahu nurin yawm al-qiyamati, la yatamannayanna ahadukum al-maut, لِدُرٍ نَزَلَ بِهِ فَإِنَّهُ إِذَا مَاتَ أَحَدُكُمْ انقطع عَمَلُهُ وَإِنَّهُ لَا يَزِيدُ الْمُسْلِمُ عُمْرُهُ إِلَّا خَيْرًا. مَنْ خَيْرُ النَّاسِ يَا رَسُولُ اللَّهِ؟ خَيْرُ النَّاسِ مَنْ طَالَ عُمْرُهُ وَحَسَنَ عَمَلُهُ. All of those hadiths show us the benefit of being older. You can have all of the knowledge that you want as a youngster. Being an older person, there's no experience, no substitute for experience. The Nabi said, these people are young. You look in Nigeria, Boko Haram, you look in Somalia, you look in Yemen, you look in Saudi Arabia, these people will call into this. You'll find the ulama are never with them. The ulama are never with them. In Pakistan, the ulama of the Sunnah are never with them. They're their own ulama and they're always young people who call in the shots. And because the person is saying good words, the Nabi said, يَقُولُونَ مِنْ خَيْرٍ قَوْلِ الْبَرِيَّةِ. Their words are the best words. They have the best words. Al-jihad, al-jihad. لَا حُكُمْ إِلَّا لِلَّهِ إِنَّ الْحُكُمْ إِلَّا لِلَّهِ الْخِلَافَ الْخِلَافَ وَمَنْ لَمْ يَحْكُمْ بِمَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهُ فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الظَّالِمُونَ فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْمُشْرِكُونَ فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ. That's true. That's true, no doubt. But how are you going to be killing the Muslims and creating all of that folder? It's not our religion. It's not our religion. So it is permissible, as the Nabi told this community. Men إِذَا لَقِيتُمُوهُمْ فَاقْتُلُوهُمْ فَإِنَّ فِي قَتْلِهِمْ أَجْرًا لِمَنْ قَتَلَهُمْ مِنْ اللَّهِ يَوْمُ الْقِيَامَةِ. أَكْرَمَكَ اللَّهُ. If any of you were to meet the Khawarij, this is why Imam Ahmad said what he said, if any of you were to meet the Khawarij, then fight against them. For verily in fighting against them, you will get a reward with Allah Yawmul Qiyamah in fighting against them. Again, Ikhwani, before we complete this, I am not here telling people that we don't want the religion of Islam to be judged by the Quran and the Sunnah. But that's what we want. We don't want the Quran to be judged by your emotions. Our country has been fighting for 20 years, 21 years. We all over the world. Now we get a new opportunity to get a new government. Let's try. Let's get in the race. Let's just get in the race in our country, Somalia. Let's just get in the race, that's all. Get in the race. We're out of the race. Our ocean, everything, we're out of the race. Go far making decisions for us. Okay, we got a group of people. Are they the best of the people? No. They're reflective of us, and we're reflective of them. Some of us pray, some of them pray. Some of us don't pray, some of them don't pray. Some of us have crazy ideas, some of them have crazy ideas. Our relatives have crazy ideas. They have crazy ideas. Let's get in the race. There comes a group of people who say, no, we're not going to give this country any chance. We're not going to give our country any chance. We're just going to keep this folder going on and going on. Bismillah. And the one who doesn't agree with them, you can enjoy freedom of speech here. Maybe, Allah. The one who doesn't agree with them, here, no problem, inshallah. But you go over there to the Muslim world. Those people will kill you in the Muslim world and seeing you as an enemy of Islam. Because you don't agree with them? And what's your point? Hey, you people, you're making fitna and fasad and folder. Get behind the ulama of your country. And the ulama doesn't mean he memorized the Quran. Ulama doesn't mean he give a nice khutbah. Ulama doesn't mean he has some kalam that has takfeer in it, he's affected people. That's not the ulama. The ulama are the people who know how to weigh the benefits and the harms. What's going to help our country, our community, get in the race and develop and move forward? And what's going to be detrimental to that? The Khawarij are a problem, and they're here today. And unfortunately, the average Muslim, many Muslims, I went to Kenya a few years ago, on the back of the matatu. You guys know what the matatu is? The matatu, that thing that they drive you, you get in, you ride the matatu, man, come on. You know, you get in the little van for transportation. They have pictures as heroes of people who have caused a lot of problems for the Muslims. To the point now where many of the Muslims themselves are saying, hey, you people, we used to like what you were saying and what we thought you represented, but you people are killing us. You're blowing up bombs in the Usool, killing my baby, killing my wife, killing my grandmother. How in the world is that Islam? So now the Muslims are making dua that Allah free us from them. Free us from these people in their Islam. Making Islam a shubha. People don't want their children to wear niqab and jilbab and to start practicing. If the boy starts growing a beard and he shortens his stole, the mother and the father gets afraid. Say, you better cut that, Pope. We don't want you to become one of those people like that. Why? Because the mother and father hate Islam? No, they don't want their child to get arrested and to be off into some nonsense. Do you people know in this dunya, 20 years ago, did everybody ever hear 20 years ago if you were traveling, you have to take your shoes off? I don't want to disrespect. You know who made the world, the whole world has to take their shoes off now? It's the Muslims. You used to go on the plane with a Pepsi bottle, with some Zamzam water. You could take it on you can't take more than 100 millimeters. Millimeters. You can't take more than 100 millimeters on the plane. Where did that? These people have affected the nizam of the dunya, the new world order that these kuffar came up with. George Bush and these monsters, they give them ammunition. Because of our tasawwur of al-Islam. The Nabi could have killed that man right away, but there were some problems that would have come that would have been bigger. He allowed that man to remain. Those people killed Uthman ibn Affan. The first time they made khuruj against Uthman. Once that door opened, it wasn't closed until today. Ali ibn Abi Talib, they were with Ali ibn Abi Talib. When Uthman was killed, Aisha, Talha, Az-Zubair, they were against Ali. They were saying, Ali, you have to kill these people who killed Uthman, the Khalifa, our relative, before we give you the bay'ah. He said, no. We have to get unity first. I'm weighing the harms and the evils. Give me the bay'ah, and then we'll go after them. They said, no, you have to kill them. And then they had a fight. They fought them. Ali's side won, and the haq was with Ali's side. The side won. These people were with Ali. The Khawarij, they said to Ali, hey, you have to allow us to do this. You have to call yourself the Amir al-Mu'mineen. You have to take these women, all of the women that were with them, you have to give them to the army. And from them is Aisha. And why did you agree to make the tahkim? Why did you do that? Agree to be with Muawiyah to make Islah. That's not permissible. The ruling is only for Allah. And then those people got upset and they went over there, 8,000 of them. They went against Ali and they said, you're a kafir, Ali. And all of the companions who were with you are kuffar. The Nabi said about him, if you compare your salat, you companions, compare your salat to their salat, your fast to their fast, you're going to see your salat and your fast as being insignificant. So the dalil of the truth of what a person is saying is not how much he screams, it's not how he beautifies it, it's where's the dalil for what he's saying? Where the ulama, where the people of the haqq who are supporting him? As for the emotions, big problem, big problem. So I encourage you brothers to go read about the history of the Khawarij and talking about the Khawarij. I hope no one understands that I'm here saying that these hukam are the best of the people. Now, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that the hukam are reflective of us. And if one of them is a kafir, fadhafi, he has kufr, bawahin, even if it's clear kufr, it's wajib upon us to overthrow him, because no kafir should be over the Muslim. وَلَنْ نَجْعَلْ لِلْكَافِرِينَ عَلَى الْمُسْلِمِينَ سَبِيلًا. Can't be over us. But we overthrow him how? When we have the ability and when there's not going to be fitna, a bigger fitna than what we're dealing with right now. And when that man got taken out in Libya, the fitna of Libya, Allah musta'an, the fitna of this place over here, Iraq to this very day. Those people blew that bomb up in Boston. The next day, 80 people in Iraq were blown up. The world didn't say anything about it. And here these Muslims are apologizing in America. We're Americans. we want to be Americans. Come on now. What about the Muslims who were blown up and they were killed? We didn't hear you saying, what about Islam and our brothers in America and in Iraq? Just be balanced. Don't be with those people, and don't be with those people. The apologetic ones, and don't be with the Mutashaddideen from the Khawarij. Just be balanced. That Boston situation, against Islam. And Iraq and the Muslims getting killed, against Islam. But the point is, look at the condition of the Muslims in Iraq since Saddam has been taken out. In Syria, who would have ever thought 10 years ago that Syria would become Mudammara like it is right now? Who would ever thought that in his wildest dream? That leader of Syria, Kufr, Bawahid, clear Kufr, his father, Kufr, Bawahid. But where's the ability to remove him? Where's the ability? Some people of the opinion, you just have to do it. Whatever happens, happens. That is the price of freedom, not in Islam. That's your emotions. And you're not the one who determines that. And I'm not the one who determines that. It's the ulama of Islam and the people of Takhassus who determine those issues. And the blood of the Muslims shouldn't be that easy. And Imam Ahmad, the ruler, was over him saying kufr. He was saying that the Quran was created. The people came and said, Ya Imam Ahmad, give us permission to make khuruj. We want to fight against this man. He said, Dima al-Muslimin, the blood of the Muslims. The blood of the Muslims. Don't do it. Don't do it. Sabr on this fitna, the sabr on him is better than the fitna that's going to come as a result of what you people want to do. So I am not saying that those who come are okay. I'm saying to you, our religion taught us how to deal with them and how to deal with the situation. So with that, we complete this, what we wanted to present from the book of Imam Ahmad. And our tawfiq is only from and with Allah Azza wa Jal. Take a few questions about today's class. You brothers have any questions for about 5 minutes, 7 minutes? Alaykum Sheikh.
Sheikh, it's like it's like the question is like the aim of to come to pray is like to connect with Allah, as you said.
لا تدرك الأبصار وهو يدرك الأبصار.
لا تدرك الأبصار وهو يدرك الأبصار وهو لطيف الخبير.
نشكركم يعني. What's the سؤال?
The question is like sometimes when you pray next to someone, like the aim of the prayer is to connect with Allah 100%. But when you pray next to someone, because this person has something in your heart, or I have something in my heart, I don't feel properly that I kneel and pray. I tried that many times. So I pray, subhanAllah, to some friends. It's like I knelt 100%. And I pray next to someone else. He's like disturbing me. And that's why it's the reason for like Salatul Khawf. Is like you don't have to pray Salatul Khawf because like there's no connection with Allah. So why you have to open down, and there's no feeling. There is no subject of the prayer. That's why I'm talking not like about Imam Ahl, we have to be like a jama'ah. Even, as you said, even some problems because like Harun radiallahu anhu, when Musa comes and he said, أخذ بلحيته قال خشيت أن تقول فرقت بني إسرائيل. Even the kuffar, but they keep them together. That is the main, like some of Islam.
One of the main reasons for the Salat is unity. Concerning the Anbiya like Harun, it's permissible to say radiyallahu anhu. It's permissible because it's a dua. But what the people of Islam, as-Sunnah, have come to know is that for the companions, it is companions is radiyallahu anhum, and for the Anbiya and the Rasul is salawatullah wa salam alayhim or something like that. So Salat al-Nabi is an important unifying factor. Khwani, inshallah ta'ala, we ask Allah ta'ala to accept from us and from you brothers. Be upon the moderate way of people of the Sunnah with the ulama. And when I say with the ulama, doesn't mean blindly following the ulama and everything that they have to say, but we follow the dalil. When we follow the scholars based upon the dalil, they call that an ittiba', and that is not the taqleed, an ittiba'. So inshallah ta'ala, we want in this masjid for the voice from the minbar, the voice of the lessons, the voice of the masjid, the room of the masjid, be from the people of the Sunnah, so that we don't have this drama like what happened in Cardiff with the lady who is from Yemen. What we're doing, what we're not doing, because what the administration, what the people are teaching is khurafat, shit, bid'ah, craziness. People don't know Islam. So let us not let Islam disappear on our watch. Do our best, inshallah ta'ala, to make muhafara on the deen of Allah Azza wa Jalla. هذا وصلى الله وسلم على نبينا وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Oh, last thing. I know some of these issues are really sensitive. Some people, if you say Pakistan do this, Somalia do that, Yemen do that, some people take it personally and say, he's talking about me and my grandfather. I'm not talking about you and your grandfather. I'm talking about general situation. So the goal and the objective is not to make takfeer and to put people down. It's just that we just have to wake up and be mature enough to kind of handle these realities and address them the way that is the most appropriate way. And Allah is A'la and Ahla.